It wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be a rhyme, but a welcome to Horseway. And you're still in the Salt Lake City ashram?
Yes, Dandavad, Maharaj Dandavad, dear devotees.
Dandavat, okay. Horseway is very dear to Sri Lekha Devidasi and the team there, so very welcome. And Bhima Krishna Prabhu over on the west coast, Pavan Krishna Prabhu, and Aparajita both in Thailand, Rupanuga Prabhu in Thailand, Sri Govinda Farm Ashram in Thailand, and Seva Rupa Devidasi. She's in Navadip and Vrindavan, but living in South Africa, no doubt. All right, and back to basics on the Facebook. Just a quick click so that we can see who is there, and all devotees on Facebook, on Zoom, and seeing us in the recorded version. Then welcome to you all, and our obeisances to you. And we begin with our mini Vandanam, as we do, except today, let us read the translation of the Vandanam, so that just these 4 verses that we generally do read, because we do say them readily, but we want to always be conscious of what we are saying. So I'll read slowly, and we don't have to read together, but I'll read slowly. The translation, first of all, Vandeham, Sri Guru Sri Yuttapada Kamalang, this prayer, and this is Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj praise. First, I offer my respects unto the lotus feet of my initiating spiritual masters and the recruiting spiritual masters and advanced Vaishnavas. Next, I offer my obeisances to my Shastra Gurus, Srila Rupa Goswami, his elder brother, Srila Sanatana Goswami, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, and Srila Jiva Goswami. On a higher platform, I offer my respects unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who came with his paraphernalia and associates, along with those great personalities, Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Advaita Acharya. And in the highest stage, I offer my obeisances unto the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha and Govinda, and all of the gopis, headed by Lalita Devi and Vishaka Devi. Then Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya, applying the soothing salve of Sambandha Jnana, a proper acquaintance with the environment. My spiritual master has opened my inner eye and thereby rescued me from the darkness of ignorance, fulfilling my life's aspirations. I offer my respects unto Sri Gurudev. And then, as we do with our, say, mini Vandanam, then Namo Mahavadanyaya. This verse, the translation is, I know it. I mean, I know the translation, but I want to give you the official translation. But I've lost Namo Mahavadanyaya. I've come to the songbook. Anyway, I offer my obeisances, Namo Mahavadanyaya, to the most not magnificent, munificent, the most generous. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Because Krishna Prema, he can give Krishna Prema to you. Krishna Prema Pradayate. Krishnaya, Krishna Chaitanya. He is Krishna himself, but his name is Krishna Chaitanya. Gaura Tvijay, with a golden complexion, Namaha, obeisances. And then Vancha Kalpa Turubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha. Similarly, Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha. I bow down unto the holy feet of the pure Vaishnavas, who are like desire trees, able to fulfill all the devotees' aspirations. The Lord's devotees are comparable to a vast ocean, Kripa Sindhu, to a vast ocean of causeless mercy, as they deliver the fallen souls from material existence. I offer all respects unto them. So, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. To all of the devotees, my humble obeisances to you all. Yes, Ishtadevika joined Bimala Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna. And we've got a grand assembly at Sri Govinda Farm Ashram, where it is well into the morning. So a beautiful day. Our morning is a lamp so far for the next 3 hours, then more than 3 hours. Then some light will come. All right, so today is Varahadev's appearance day. Yesterday was Ekadashi. And today there should be some special worship of Varahadev early in the morning. And that special worship comes in the form generally of sweet rice, an offering of sweet rice for Varahadev's satisfaction. And so some special worship in this way taking place, and then after that, then breaking fast at whatever time is the correct time in the local area to break fast. And Varahadev, he is the boar incarnation, and the 10 principal avatars. We mentioned a few back-to-back to basics ago that actually there is a continuous flow of avatars coming to this world and to the worlds. But there are 10 principal avatars that are listed, the Dash avatar. It's the Dasavatar-stotram that we also sing, and we will sing today, probably in Thailand. You already sang that this morning. And beginning with the fish incarnation, the tortoise incarnation, then the boar incarnation. And we have 2 people in the waiting room. Oh, Sri Lekha and Muktina. All right, very good. So devotees are joining us. So it's Varahadev's appearance day this side of the world. And we do have, means Chaitanya Saraswat Math, we do have a special relationship with Varahadev in the sense that he is the Lord of Koladwip. And it is Boar Island. Kola in Koladwip means Boar Island, means boar, and Dweep means island. And Varahadev himself came to Chaitanya Saraswat Math in a lila-full way. He came to Chaitanya Saraswat Math step by step. His Salagram Sila needs some strict worship, and this particular Salagram Sila was causing disturbance wherever he was. And then the senior devotees, they prayed to Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj, we have this Salagram Sila, and only we think that you are qualified from the core of the heart to worship the Salagram Sila. Can we bring him to you? And Srila Guru Maharaj, hearing the prayers of those stalwart devotees, then Guru Maharaj said, if I can be of service, then yes, he may come here, but he will come here. I'm not able to travel to collect him. And so he did come to a couple of places on his way to coming to Chaitanya Saraswat Math, but wherever he stopped, there was much disturbance. And so the devotees brought him to Guru Maharaj, and Srila Guru Maharaj, he accepted and then asked to Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, to see the symptoms, the characteristics of the Salagram Sila, the stone from the Kali Gandaki River up in the the Himalayas. And Srila Gurudev looked, and he looked in a particular book which gives some description about the markings of the Salagram Sila. And Srila Gurudev, he said, well, as far as I can understand, then he is Varahadev, the boar incarnation. And the Salagram Shilas, they are Vishnu forms, they're manifesting from Lord Vishnu. But Srila Gurudev said, but I'm not 100% sure, but we can call in an expert to check. And Guru Maharaj said, yes, you can do that too. But in the meantime, Guru Maharaj, when he heard likely to be the Varahadev, then Guru Maharaj, he ordered that sweet rice will be cooked for Varahadev, specifically for Varahadev. And soon they got verified that indeed the Salagram Sila was Varahadev, and he is on the altar and he is worshipped there until today. And by the way, the Salagram Sila and Varahadev, being Vishnu form, they have some strict worship, must be on time, must be clean, must be this, must be that, and must be actually Brahminical from the core, as it were, from the inside, to worship the Salagram Sila. And hence Srila Guru Maharaj gave the instruction that for the Westerners, we should not worship the Salagram Sila. We will worship safely the picture or Giriraj, Govardhan Sila, the stone from Govardhan Hill. Well, that is it basically. And then in the temples, then to can worship to Gauranga, Radha and Krishna. And to worship Gauranga is also not so strict to worship, but that doesn't mean neglectful. But to worship Gauranga, Radha and Krishna is something strict, must be done properly. So we've heard this from Srila Gurudev. Varahadev, he rescued the earth after it had been disrupted by the demons and fallen into the Garbhodakasayi ocean, which Srila Prabhupada, in one of his many interesting purports, that's in Srimad Bhagavatam, in Srila Prabhupada, he says, and the earth now is being disrupted by the demons. They are drawing out millions and millions, millions upon millions of tons of oil from inside the earth and disturbing the equilibrium of the earth. And at any moment, the earth can again fall into the depths of the Garbhodakasayi ocean. So a little wake-up call to us, to everybody. At any moment, this next moment. So let's chant Hare Krishna at every moment. And when we look at it, then we can understand that Srila Prabhupada again is pointing out something which we can logically also see ourselves, but we need to point it out. Just like karma, just like how we live after our body, etc. We need some obvious things to be pointed out. That if you're going to take out, millions and billions and whether trillions, I don't know, of tons of weight, oil from some part of a rotating planet, then you're going to disturb its equilibrium. You're taking that out and you're putting that, you're converting that into gas, basically. So this is not our home. The earth can fall again into the ocean. And I don't know who's going to have the potency to call Varahadev. Varahadev, we're in the same position again. Please come and help. And then Varahadev. Anyhow, last time, then he drew the earth out of the ocean. And he, being a boar, the Lord, he's Vishnu himself, but as a boar, taking a suitable body that he can go into the water. And somehow a boar mystically can smell in the water, and he can find things with his snout in the water. And we see them in Vrindavan. You see some kind of boars there at least. And they've got their nose in all this dirty water. But they're finding food. They're like sniffing food. They're sensing food amongst all this water. But of course, the Lord as a boar, he's looking for the fragrance of earth. Krishna says, I am the fragrance of earth. And we do know that the earth has fragrance. If it doesn't have fragrance, how do your flowers have fragrance that grow in the garden? There you are, nothing but earth and life. Anyway, Varahadev's appearance day and Koladwip, 9 islands of Navadip. Everybody knows those islands, don't you? Simantadip, okay, Simantadip, Kodrumadip, Madhyadip, Koladwip, Janudip, no. Janudip, oh, it's too early in the morning. I do know the islands, but it's too early in the morning for me, excuse me. Who's going to rescue me from the ocean of ignorance? Anyway, we've got Janudip. We're missing one island down there. And then we have oh my goodness. Champahati, which island is that? Paramananda Prabhu. Oh, silence.
Maharaj, isn't that Ritudvip?
Maybe Ritudip, Janudip, then Modradrumadip, then Rudradip, then Antadip. Thank you very much. I was stuck for Ritudip. Very good. And by the way, if you like a little diversion from the earth going down to the bottom of the ocean, then yesterday evening we finished the reading of Sri Navadip Bhavataranga. Some of you are going to say, oh, well, it's about time. We've been reading it a long time. Well, we've been reading it for a while, but what a way to end a book. If you haven't read Sri Navadip Bhavataranga, it's time to start reading that book, and it's time to start reading, but first read the Navadip Dham Mahatmya, because you sort of need that background to read the Navadip Bhavataranga. And what a way to end a book. I won't be a spoiler. There's some word that they use today for somebody who spoils the story by telling the ending first. What is that word? Some slang word. Anyway, it won't be a spoiler, spoil what's going to take place. But don't skip to the end, start at the beginning, go all the way through. And then we were all astounded yesterday evening. That's all I can say. Hare Krishna. And that Navadip Bhavataranga takes us around the islands too. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is drifting in and out of Vrindavan Lila, Navadip Lila, Vrindavan Lila, Navadip Lila throughout that book. It's very intense, very beautiful, and makes us a little bit Navadip conscious, in the sense of he's revealing what is under that film, the thin film. Not thick concrete or thick this, that, and the other, but described there as a film covering the Dham. And, you know, a cloth is very thin, and you can cover something with a cloth. But thinner than a cloth is film. And so there's a film of illusion over the top of the Dham. To protect the Dham, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, or perhaps he's telling about Nityananda saying, I can't exactly say, but Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in the book, in the Navadip Dham Mahatmya or the Navadip Bhavataranga, because they do sort of go together. He says that why should the materialists be allowed to see the wonder and the beauty of Navadip Dham? Therefore, there's a film over the top, so they can't see it. So you can't see Navadip with materialistic eyes. We have to as with everything, we have to approach in the proper way. That applies to anything and everything that we do in the world. We can't just randomly drive a car. We can't just randomly do this, that, or the other. We need to make a proper approach. Anyway, that was a little side issue, but there is mentioned too in both of those books about Koladwip, about the Boar Island. And so the 9 islands of Navadip, which I was stumbling on and should not have been stumbling on, then each island has a presiding deity. And the presiding deity of Koladwip is Kola, the boar. And so it came to be that the boar, the Supreme Lord as a boar, he came as Salagram Sila himself to take his seat in Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. Hare Krishna, in the service and being served by Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, the devotees, under their guidance. And here's Seva Rupa Devidasi, always mining within the storehouse of the scripture. And she's got the translation of Dasavatar-stotram. Yes? The verse? No?
No, Maharaj, it was done not pronounced. It was just when you were reading the translation of the Vandana prayers.
Oh,
it was just
okay.
some of a few.
Got it. I understand. I just saw, I didn't read it. I just saw and I thought, oh, you found some quote. Hare Krishna. Anyway, this is a beginning. And by the way, tomorrow here, I mean, it's going to be tomorrow for somebody, for you all very soon. Tomorrow in Salt Lake City, tomorrow's tomorrow in Salt Lake City is going to be Nityananda's appearance day. And actually, reminds me of something. I'll just write it down. Okay. So tomorrow is going to be Nityananda's appearance day. This season, there are lots of festivals. And last month, there were not many festivals. But in Bengal, last month, it is what they call the picnic. This month, very good for picnic. Because it's cold, not hot. January, it's the coldest month of the year. So it's a good time to go for a picnic. But picnic means they rent a bus. I'm sure it says on the side, luxury and express and all those things. But they rent a rickety old bus and drive anywhere where it is peaceful and quiet. And then they have a picnic with giant loudspeakers of Bollywood music and some anandam to drink and things like this. So last month, there were not many festivals Vaishnava-wise, but it was the picnic month. But this month, there are many Vaishnava festivals, as you can see on the calendar. So we just had the disappearance of Madhvacharya, disappearance of Ramanujacharya. Today is the appearance of Varahadev. Then tomorrow, Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day. And more festivals coming up. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's appearance day coming up this week. So a big week. Hare Krishna. Yes, Srila Devidasi. I saw and heard Dibya Shakti giving some class for the Gita class, I think, the other day. Hare Krishna to the assembled devotees. And Ashapurna, have you made it over to Salt Lake City? You're in Salt Lake City too. Okay, we've got a whole Sweet Lake City contingent today, headed by Srila Devidasi. You're in the temple room. Okay, beautiful. Jai Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj ki Jai. And Jai Shri, tell me the correct name, Gauranga Sundar. Guru Gauranga Sundar.
Shri Guru Gaurachandra Giridhar Ju.
Shishi Guru Gaura Chandra Giri Raju. Please excuse. Ki Jai. And he is holding his right hand up. Wonderful. Sri Lekha knows what I mean. Hare Krishna. Too much beautiful. In Gurudev's expression, too much beautiful. Sri Lekha Devirasi, would you like to say a few words, or would you like to get a breather and let Paramananda Prabhu say a few words first? Okay, Paramananda Prabhu, you know you're going to be asked to say something, and your day has been running for a long time. Actually, not for as long as Sri Lekha's day, there into the afternoon, but of yesterday. Just see, what a strange world. Paramananda Prabhu, kindly.
It's always nice to say something after Sri Lekha Didi, but I mean, she expressed her desire, so I should honor that. Maharaj, wonderful reminder about the whole story about how Varahadev appeared. And it's a good example because we hear so many different examples of how different murtis and manifestations of the Lord's form would appear to different Vaishnavas historically, hundreds of years ago. And here we have a, can you share it? Just don't want to see a big picture of myself, sorry. How you know what I mean, Maharaj?
I know how you feel, exactly.
How it happens historically, we heard so many times, but here is a very recent history, and you, Sri Lekha Didi, were actually there in the presence of those Vaishnavas who directly participated in that lila, and how the whole lila unveiled. And being in somewhere in a distant place, and we hear it was in the king's palace first, and then Pandit's house, the king's Pandit's house first, and how they conducted, how they heard about Guru Maharaj, getting that inspiration. So the Lord must have expressed his desire and give some inspiration to those personalities to contact Guru Maharaj in the first place. That was an expression of his sweet will. And they didn't even know what the form, that's interesting because they could have told Srila Guru Maharaj, this is this form of the Lord coming from a big Pandit. So the Lord concealed his form. I would just speculate, but since he asked Govinda Maharaj to research it, means he didn't know what Salagram Sila it was. And then different stops, like you said, on the way, and wherever he would stop, devotees wanted to keep him. But as soon as they expressed that desire, he would create all sorts of havoc in their places. And do you remember, I think one of them for certain was Srila Bhakti Sharanga Goswami Maharaj, but before him, perhaps it was Jajavar Maharaj's man. He stopped in a few places. Was it Maharaj? Right.
I would have to check before saying yes, but I think it is correct.
But then last stop was at Goswami Maharaj's Math, and Goswami Maharaj thinking, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, yes, it's actually for him, but he's such a good friend. He will never say no to me if I keep, because really it's such a rare occurrence. When a Salagram Sila comes into a temple or an ashram, it's always considered to be a very good sign, since it's a self-manifested form. And since it's a self-manifested form, it expresses his own desire, it goes at his sweet will. So every Vaishnava would think, it's here for the purpose. And then they will think, then I shall worship it. Then earnestly, they want to do that. So he also expressed that. But as soon as that happens, another situation, sudden situation arised in the mat, and obviously it was linked to a newly arrived Lord in the form of the Salagram Sila, and then they also are mature Vaishnavas, they can read Lord's will. So it was finally sent to Srila Guru Maharaj and ended up in our mat. And no disturbances, as far as I heard, were caused by the Sila, because that was his own abode. He was going there since the very beginning. And he knew there was a great sadhu, and we can say sadhus, who will, he wanted to have their association. It's not about him just going to his own land, but he was searching. It's like we're hearing about a loving search for the lost servants. The Lord was also searching for his servants. He wanted to have their association, and hence the expression of his desire to go to Srila Guru Maharaj and receive service from Guru Maharaj or Govinda Maharaj and their associates. And such a wonderful, joy, you can say. Of course he knows, because all the dignitaries, all the wonderful Vaishnavas of that particular period of time, they will all go to visit Srila Guru Maharaj. That was their destination too. You can somehow read the Lord's mind, which is impossible to read, but some hints are there. Anyway, it's a wonderful story. And like you said, very strict worship. And I was a fool enough to worship Salagram Silas, but Govinda Maharaj corrected me in a very nice way. He never says, one of his rules was not to destroy the enthusiasm, not to damage the enthusiasm. Like we hear the story when after the Mayapur Chandradaya Mandir was opened, he was just browsing around and he heard some chants, Brahminical chants. And then he went there and he saw fire sacrifice. And he said they were so magnificent, those white disciples of Prabhupada. They were like white elephants. They were so beautiful, magnificent. But they were sitting there and doing the fire sacrifice. And in the meantime, they're offering their spiritual guru to the fire. So they're chanting mantras dedicated to Srila Prabhupada and doing the swaha, offering it to the fire. So it was completely the wrong thing to do. But Govinda Maharaj said himself, it was so wonderful. And they were so sincere in their attempts. I didn't want to disturb them. I didn't want to disturb their enthusiasm. So Srila Govinda Maharaj never wanted to disturb or destroy the enthusiasm of the devotees, even though sometimes they would do something not so right or completely, was completely not right. He would say something, but not so right. And then I had some inspiration. I said, Govinda Maharaj, I have quite a few Salagram Silas. And I said to him, would you like to accept them and put them on the altar of the mat? And immediately he said, Prabhu, no. I am not qualified to worship such form of the Lord. You, Prabhu, you are qualified, but I am not. When I heard that was it. So I went back to my room. I took out all the shilas. I paid full dandavats to them. I put them back into the little container. And since that moment, I never touched paraphernalia and I never worshipped the Salagram Silas, but I was always very apologetic in my mind about it. And the finale of this story is that they were gracefully accepted in the Advaita Acharya Bhavan by the present Sevaita Acharya, who is also happened to be Govinda Maharaj's disciple. So they're worshipped there now, so it's all solved. So a wonderful story and wonderful appearance of the Varahadev, as we can read from Srimad Bhagavatam, which we will this evening. How he appeared from the nostril of Lord Brahma. He was not more than a bean size and then infinitely expanded. And then started his divine search for the lost planet. And like Maharaj said, the boars, they have this acute sense of smell. And that's why people are using them to find truffles, which is difficult to find. It's the very precious mushroom that is absolutely hidden underground. Otherwise, how can you locate it if not the sense of the pigs have the smell, special sense of smell. What else? One thing I wanted to...
I want to ask, how do they train a boar to find truffles and not eat them themselves? You're a very wise man. I'm sure you know the answer. So, but I'm not going to ask. But it sounds amazing.
You mean like a leash and a stick?
Like a what?
A leash and a stick.
A leash and a stick.
Yes, I mean, they're like they're on the leash. They're not free when they're looking for the truffles. And there's a supervisor with a stick preventing them from eating into that.
Okay. That's why I'm not going to ask.
We're talking about mundane boars.
Yeah.
Not divine boars. And just using this moment, I wanted to ask you maybe to address one subject on the maybe next BBBC, the Vaishnava Sampradayas. Because I find out quite a few devotees, they have no idea about the existence. I mean, maybe some existence, yes, but they don't.
Oh.
Acharya. So since we had Madhavacharya and Manujacharya appearances, this is how I find out. So we can address that in the next BBBC. We can talk about the different Vaishnava Sampradayas and the wonderful devotees and wonderful founder acharyas of those lineages. And Guru Maharaj, he extensively quotes the Vaishnavas from other Sampradayas in his Prapana Jivanamritam. So it's good to know.
He
Good
does
to refresh.
indeed. And Srila Gurudev also saying that he extensively read from Ramanuja Sampradaya, from Kulashekar, I believe, and from others. Said, I extensively read. So wonderful descriptions of devotion are there. Okay. 4 Sampradayas description. Okay. Pen and paper.
I'm pretty sure now Srila Kadidi is ready. And
I'm
Kumkum
sure
Didi
she's
is
ever
always
ready. She's just having her pastimes, that's all. And in the meantime, by the way, Kumkum Didi joined us on Facebook and on Zoom. Just see, she's multifaceted. She's with us here? Yes, Kumkum, she's here too. Kumkum, welcome. Shilekadi, you're up. Kindly. Hello.
Hello, Maharaj. Dandavat. Dandavat, Dandavat. I'm so happy to see everybody. Very nice to hear from you, Paramananda Prabhu, and of course, Maharaj. And nice to see Ram Sundar Prabhu. Dandavat, Ram Sundar Prabhu. I've texted you a few times on old Signal. Now I have to find out another way, I think. Anyway, super sweet to see everybody. Bimal Krishna Prabhu and Devika helped me to get connected tonight. I couldn't seem to get into the program, but anyhow, Maharaj, yeah, over the last few days, we have been talking about the 4 Sampradayas in our temple classes and speaking about the history of Madhvacharya and Ramanujacharya. And it's been very wonderful to review all of that and just the beautiful pastimes of these great acharyas. So it's really wonderful. I'm looking forward to that next week. And Lord Varahadev's appearance is, I don't know why, but it's one of my favorite pastimes. It's very funny. Just the way I'm just going to say, just the way that the Lord appears, as Paramananda Prabhu was pointing out, coming out of of course, Lord Brahma's form is ethereal. It's not like one of our noses, He comes from the nostril of Brahma and he expands and he's making this wonderful noise and he's kicking up the clouds and everybody's, what is this? And Lord Brahma is saying, I didn't make this. Where did this come from? And then he becomes this diving down through the universe into the Garbhodakasayi ocean. It is very funny to me. I don't know why. It always makes me really laugh. The whole fighting scene of Lord Varahadev with Hiranyaksha and all the insults that Hiranyaksha is throwing at the Lord. And the Lord says, you have lots to say, but let's see how you can fight, And then they're fighting. And there's so many details, but finally, Hiranyaksha knocks the weapon from Varahadev's hand. And it comes spinning down. And then here in Yaksha becomes very chivalrous. And he says, oh, you can pick it up. And then it says, thus infuriating the personality of Godhead. It's really funny. And they're having this big, big fight. And then, Lord Varahadev just, all the demigods are saying, oh, finish this guy, finish. It's a good time, stop playing with this demon. And then after all this, exertion and fighting, just in a really nonchalant way, the Lord just kicks the collarbone of Hiranyaksha, and his whole body comes apart. This is like, his eyes are, and everything's like breaking from this little kick. Anyway, it's a really beautiful story. I really love it. Anyway, that's all.
And after all that's completed too, then when he's come out and brought the earth out of the Garbhodakasayi ocean, then he shakes his fur, and the whole universe is purified by the water that's coming from the bristles of it, because it's not fur on a boar, it's bristles, isn't it? And then and the thing is that gods, they know it's Vishnu. And I always wonder, how do they know that this is Vishnu as a boar? It's amazing, the whole story. And this is the precursor, of course, to Hiranyakashipu and all his enviousness and wish to kill Vishnu, because Vishnu killed his brother, who is Hiranyaksha. And so Srila Gurudev describes that actually Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, like you're saying, they're having this grand fighting, and all the time some grand fighting going on. But Vishnu, he wanted to exercise his muscles, but he needed a good opponent, like a wrestler. A wrestler doesn't want a weak opponent. You just tap his head and his head will go 1,000 miles away. Not like that. And so he wants strong opponents. And so Gurudev also making the motions of Vishnu, he wants to exercise his muscles. And he needs a good opponent. And this way, his servitors, Jai and Vijay, then they become presently Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu for this purpose, to serve the Lord, to give him a good combatant in the similar to wrestling or something like that, you can say. Whatever that is in this world is in a pure way in the upper world. So there is also wrestling. Kamsa's wrestlers with Krishna. Oh dear.
That thin film you were speaking of, Maharaj, that thin film is actually covering all of reality. Reality is always there. I mean, reality is reality. It's not somewhere else, but that thin film has to be removed from our eyes to see all these things, all these wondrous things just beyond the veil.
But I think the implication, as I understood it reading the books of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, was that in the Dham there is a thin film, there is a film, whereas in the regular world it's probably a bit thicker than a film, something like that, a thick covering. But in the holy Dham there's a thin covering. And especially Navadip Dham. You read Navadip Dham Mahatmya, you read Navadip Bhavataranga, and you really understand that everywhere is in Navadip. And Navadip Dham, it is the Dham for this age. And all the holy places are losing their potency, while Navadip is increasing in potency, which is an amazing description too. Hare Krishna. Yes. Kumkum Devirasi, would you like to share something today?
My Dandavat Maharaj, Srila Kadiri, Paramananda Prabhu, all of the Vaishnavas, it's so wonderful. I'm completely distracted here this evening. There are so many flurries of things going on here. So if you can excuse me, I'll try to be a little more collected.
Okay, we understand about flurries and bigger than flurries. Tornadoes sometimes going on all around.
Yes. Here, there's actually a 25-year snowstorm that this area hasn't seen in such a long time. And the other flurry is that Bharat Chandra Prabhu is returning here, which should be a simple thing. But because of very deep, like 10-foot snow drifts, and his big moving house can't come in because of that. And so all the neighbors were out trying to quickly clear with shovels. And so that was going on. And then even when he got here, still more needed to be done. So we're depending on Krishna's kindness to excuse us.
It's all good, but do you have electricity?
We do. I just didn't. The sun was also going down at about the time I was trying to get here, and I didn't get it turned on.
All right, it's all good. So you do have electricity. You can keep warm through it all.
Definitely, and I'm so glad I was able to hear. I can listen more later to these discussions that we had this evening.
And you see this world, in many places we get some snow and it's all a big disruption. And other places in the world, they have so much snow and they just take it in their stride and know how to drive in the snow, how to do all these things. I can make a quick look just to see, because I do have it on my thing. We have our devotees in Tomsk. Oh, I think I took it off because oh no, Tomsk. Yeah, now is -9 degrees. So anyway, but we've been that side of the world with so much snow, but they just continue. And the roads, the minor roads don't get cleared, but everyone has to park in parking areas off the big road, and then they walk to the small road. So they're geared up for it. I remember New York ground to a standstill with just a little snow last year, or I mean, recently, I don't remember which year. And I remember the Russians commenting something like, in Russia, this is nothing. It's all about what we're used to, isn't it? There's Aparajita smiling. We don't get snow in Thailand. No, you don't, do you? Hare Krishna. And where is Bimal? Bimal Krishna Prabhu. You're a man of enthusiastic sharing. And maybe Istadevika is too. I've heard her very capable and devotional glories, but I haven't heard her speak very much. So we can pass the microphone to you both. And on Varahadev or on any subject means back to basics. Our devotional life. Please do share something.
I'll share one really quick thing and then hand it over to him. Just when you were talking about Vrindavan, I don't know, I just kind of had an overwhelming missing for it that I haven't felt in a while. I had the privilege of going one time in 06, 07, December to January. Navadweep. And I just I don't know, just a hankering feeling and a missing, and just that I remember so many people saying, oh, you're going to go and it's going to be a huge culture shock and so different. And I felt that, but a little bit, but really it was just so beautiful because I saw more poor, poverty and things that I'd never seen growing up, but everyone was smiling and happy and joyful. Just that level of the spirituality that was everywhere around the Dom, and just seeing that. Anyway, I was just remembering that and missing that, and that's all.
And the special, not heat, but like aura, you can say. There's something very special about Navadip. As Srila Gurudev said, if there's a fire underneath the table, and I put my hand over the table, we can feel some warmth. We can feel that there's something there, but we can't exactly see the fire. And this description, Navadip, is like this. We can feel something very special, but we can't quite see it. It's under that film we've been mentioning today. But it's there. Yes, beautiful. We all miss Navadip. Be grateful. Yes.
About everybody. I just kind of the same thing she was saying. What comes to mind for me was just how special spending time from the time of Gurudev's appearance day. You know, a lot of devotees would go, and I was fortunate enough to spend time there during that time and all through to Gauri Purnima, and just the amount of festivals that go on, you know, throughout that time is, especially when there's a lot of devotees there, you know, around the time of Gurudev's staying. Like he would be in Calcutta, but everyone was in Navadvip and going through these programs throughout the, you know, the couple months. But it was just, that's what I'm thinking about a lot of, is just being there with the devotees. And like I was always told like, oh, it feels like you're going home, you know. And I think everybody, and especially because I went there the first time and then I came back a second time, like a year later, I came back again, and that was exactly the feeling. It was so familiar and just beautiful. And the memories, I think, you know, just hearing people talk about it and the different memories, it all kind of comes flooding back to you. And it's just beautiful times. I think everybody cries when they leave, you know, your heart, a piece of you is definitely there. And just a lot of memories. A lot of the things to kind of tie a lot of things in together, the buses you're talking about, and wrestling. I was Jagadananda and I would wrestle in the Ganga, which, you know, we probably caused offense for sporting in the Ganges, but we would wrestle there. And one time he cracked my rib wrestling, and so I was going to Ekachakradam on the back. I was in the very back seat of one of the buses, the express, or, you know, those fancy buses. And we'd hit those giant potholes. And every time we'd hit a pothole, I'd bounce and my ribs would just about kill me. But I was just thinking about Ekachakradam and how sweet that was when the guest house was being built, and then the temple. And I remember one of the memories I have that was kind of special and that I always think about was Tyagi Maharaj, Kamal Krishna Brahmachari at the time, was sitting there, and he had made a little book, a small blue book about Nityananda. And we're all sitting there, and there was like a Bengali gentleman he was just kind of laying there on the ground, and he had a ganja pipe and he was smoking ganja. But Kamal Krishna at the time, when he was just speaking about Lord Nityananda Prabhu and just, you know, telling some pastimes and things and speaking some shlokas and things. And at the end of this Bengali man, he gets up and he flips him a rupee or something. He flips him a coin. And it was just really sweet. And then he just got up and he walked out through the rice paddies, you know. And it just made me think, like, we don't really know who anybody is, you know. And it was just interesting to me. Like, it's just something that kind of stands out in my mind, hearing him, you know, speaking these pastimes. And then this man, he looks like, you know, he has like a few belongings in a bag, but he comes over and he gives some rupees to Kamal Krishna Prabhu, which he took back to Gurudev ultimately. But just really sweet pastime. I keep rambling on, but just I think everybody who's been there, especially during the time of Gurudev, like Gurudev being there for his Vyasa Puja and after not being there for so long, just lots of beautiful memories. And I'm sure that everybody has just little things that stand out that, you know, become memories for our lifetime. Just really beautiful. So Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Enjoy all the potholes on those roads.
Yeah. I don't know what's everybody.
Someone has to sit in those back seats. So you are doing the service that somebody else wouldn't be sitting there. Just see. But they can be quite lethal, those back seats of the buses. Very lethal, in fact. And we've had devotees being bounced up from the back seat and hit their head on the top and be, in pain for days. Thankfully it wasn't severe. It's severe enough. It wasn't too severe. But yes, if you take a bus in Bengal, it's good not to sit at the very back. Hare Krishna. Well, I can advise you both, and I can advise everyone. Guess what? Read Sri Navadip Dham Mahatmya and Navadip Bhavataranga. Because really it brings us to Navadip, and even it brings us to more of Navadip than our experience, if you like. Well, it does definitely bring us more than our experience, because then we're getting the inside track, the inside understanding of what is there. But the beauty of the association of the devotees, the beauty of the whole mood of the parikrama, and then in the second book, the beauty of Bhaktivinoda Thakur just taking us everywhere, giving some descriptions and taking us with him when he's going to places. And it's just takes us home. The same idea. We can go home, get that home mood by going there, but in separation. We are here now, and by reading Navadip Dham Mahatmya and Navadip Bhavataranga, really we can have some connection to the Dham today. And to carry the message of Mahaprabhu around the world is service to the Dham. This was one of those instructions, guidances of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This is real service to Navadip Dham. So we must all try to keep Gauranga consciousness. And tomorrow is going to be Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day. And he gave us Gauranga consciousness. He gave us Krishna consciousness. Gauranga is Radha Krishna. But this Gauranga consciousness to take to the next step. Gauranga, after all, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur elsewhere, he says, about at least everyone can accept that Gauranga was a great reformer. Whether especially immediately, we can think if somebody told us immediately, oh, this tall golden person, he's God himself. He appeared in Bengal. We do need a little background to get some understanding of Gauranga. But Nityananda gave Gauranga consciousness. Krishna consciousness is one step, Gauranga consciousness another step. And if we can take Gauranga's message, this is what Guru Maharaj and Gurudev are giving. This is what Srila Prabhupada is giving. And if we can help means if we can do our tiny part maybe, but to let that message be available to the world, to our friends, to the people we care about, then this is service to Navadip. Hare Krishna. And Rupanuga Prabhu, I see you've joined us. I'm happy to see you joined us. I listened to that radio broadcast you advised, and I was surprised to hear that the devotee there, called Tilak perhaps, he was using the expression, search for Sri Krishna, reality the beautiful. What a wonderful expression. And he repeated a couple of times. And they're reading Guru Maharaj's books. They're getting nourishment from Guru Maharaj's books, but not giving the credit to Guru Maharaj, not giving the credit to Gurudev. And we are happy to give credit. Of course, we're happy to give credit to them. It's not our possession. It's their matter that we are trying to reflect around the world. Yes, Rupanuga Prabhu, Hare Krishna. All right, so dear devotees, today is a Sunday, and today a traveling day for me and for some others too. And we'll be back in a few days' time, and I'm going to make a note where I need to make a note about the 4 Sampradayas. And there also in Navadip Dham Mahatmya, there is a description about the recent heads of the 4 Sampradayas and meeting with Mahaprabhu, and how Mahaprabhu took two items from each of those Sampradayas. But this is for next time. But again, Navadip Dham Mahatmya and Navadip Bhavataranga, they're giving us everything. And of course, they're the best books ever. We've just been reading them. So, okay, I understand, we're biased, but we've just been reading those books, so we feel they're the best books ever. And by the way, we're also reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, of course, which is the best book ever, and the part we're reading is the best part ever. Okay, but reading Sri Guru and his grace, how clearly Guru Maharaj is expressing the necessity of the proper guidance, to have a guide, to have any guidance that's going to take us in that direction. How valuable that is, and how clearly, super clearly, Srila Guru Maharaj is explaining this. Straight from the gate, straight from the beginning. So anyway, we read Sri Guru and His Grace many times, but this is the best reading ever. Okay, we leave you all for your devotional week. We're so happy to see so many from Sweet Lake City with us, by the way, and from, around the world. From Australia, we don't have somebody in Australia, but we've got 2 Australians, Rupanuga Prabhu, and no doubt we have a hidden Jai Gauranga Prabhu there somewhere. Yesterday he was in another Zoom, he was, okay, he's actually visible. We could see the top of his head behind the sofa where they were sitting. But still, we drew a few words from Jai Gauranga Prabhu. So we got 2 Australians, 2 from Australia with us. But then from around the world, and Harini also joined, Axel joined from the USA, Nadia Sundari, and Gangalila Devidasi in USA. Oh, Sevarupa, you probably put these things in a little earlier, but she's put 2 quotes. Perhaps you can just quickly, I suppose not quickly, perhaps you could read these 2 excerpts that you found, Sevarupa Devidasi.
Dhanyavad pranams, Hare Krishna. Yes, Gurudev, it is from Sri Navadip Dham Mahatmya, and I see Kumkum Didi also added in the last verse as well. It is saying about the covering, that the material energy spreads a covering over the Dham and keeps it covered forever. Souls who have no relationship with Sri Krishna Chaitanya blindly reside on the surface of this covering. They think, I am in Navadip Dham, but Prodha Maya bewilders them and keeps them far away. If by some fortune souls attain the association of the sadhus, then their relationship with Sri Krishna Chaitanya develops. O Jiva, such relationships are a highly confidential subject, a fortune that conditioned souls do not easily understand. Someone may say, Sri Krishna Chaitanya is my Lord, but have no relationship with him at heart by constantly engrossed in Maya. Such persons reside on the surface of Maya's covering and never attain pure devotion. O Lord, O Lord, they are religious pretenders. They are always deceitful and devoid of humility. Because of their pride, they consider themselves wise. And Kumkum Dedi then added, by the grace of the sadhus, however, they abandon their pride and willingly consider themselves lower than grass. Jai Gurudev.
Jai to these sadhus, the Paramahamsas, Jai Om Vishnupad, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Om Vishnupad, Srila Bhakti Rock of Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai, Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai, Shri Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai, Jai Shri Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Jai Shri Varahadev ki Jai, Jai Saparika Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar Ju ki Jai, Shri Navadip Dham ki Jai, Shri Koladwip ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Math ki Jai, and Jai Shri everything. All the devotees ki Jai. Yeah, tomorrow Nityananda was appearance day. So Shri Nityananda Prabhu Abhibhav ki Jai. And yes, many things. Shri Chaitanya, Shri Navadip Dham Mahatmya ki Jai, Shri Navadip Bhavataranga ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai, both on Facebook and here. Madhava Prabhu, good to have you with us. Mathura Basini, good to have you with us on Facebook. And others who we can't see. And to all who are also seeing the recorded version, and to all of you, our special obeisances to everybody. Jais Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Bancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhu Bhya Eva Cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. We read the
Jai
translation.
Srila Bhakti Maharaj ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Have a wonderful few days until we meet again soon, and to each of you with your hearts, your obeisances, and everything else, our reciprocating obeisances to each of you, and to our revered speakers today, speakers from the heart. All of you are speaking from the heart too, and I was very happy to be reminded about Eka Chakra and Dum Dum Park and so many things. To be continued. We want to hear more of your adventures while you were there, your devotional adventures while you visited Navadip Dham. Jai Nitai. Dear devotees, stay safe, chant the holy names. Let's all come home soon together. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari. Govinda. And me, Aschi, and everybody's waving and hugging. But I need to go because we have some duties to do. Go,